car crash, but I hope not. I mean, the whole point is, as we had this amazing result to the referendum, which nobody on either side saw coming, so nobody had really thought through what this meant for our place in the world, our relations with Europe, but everybody else, if we're about to make this great change compared with the previous 50 years. And now there's a great debate broken out about every detail of it.
The United Kingdom is going through a tough time. There have been some big problems like Brexit and the COVID pandemic that have caused a lot of trouble. The country is also still dealing with the effects of a recession that happened a while ago. All this has people worried about what will happen in the future. It's like the country is still trying to recover from the big crisis that happened back in 2008. The problem has now raised questions among the elite in the UK. Ken Clarke seems to be one of the most concerned. Lord Ken, who is a member of the House in the UK, is very worried about what might happen to the United Kingdom's economy in the future. He's talked about the reasons why the economy is having problems and what might happen as a result, and the future that awaits them.
Everybody's having a silly political row about it, whereas nobody's been very bothered about it for the previous 20 years. And that is because the event set it off, and what you never anticipate in politics is events.
Clarke is a UK-born barrister and an economist. He was born and raised in a family of bookkeepers in Nottingham, UK. He started his political journey in the 1970s when he became a member of Parliament for Rushcliffe. He made a name for himself as a skilled debater and advocate for conservative values. Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister at the time, recognized his potential and appointed him as a junior minister in 1981. Clarke's hard work paid off, and he was later promoted to the important role of Secretary of State for Health in 1988. One of the important things Clarke did was help negotiate a treaty called the Maastricht Treaty. The Maastricht Treaty played an important role in the creation of the European Union. Even though Clarke is no longer in the government, he still has a strong voice in British politics. He believes in things like making sure the economy is stable, treating everyone well, and having a good relationship with Europe. People listen to what he says because he knows a lot about the economy and how it affects the United Kingdom. Clarke is a well-known figure in British politics. He's raised concerns about the problems surrounding Brexit. This is when the United Kingdom decided to leave a group called the European Union. Clarke is worried that this decision might cause some problems for the country's economy. It could affect things like trade, investments, and how stable the market is. He thinks that not having a clear plan and taking a long time to negotiate might make it harder for the UK to grow and stay stable. He also raised concerns about the UK's national debt and deficit. The country has been trying to spend less money and do things right, but it still owes a lot of money. Clarke thinks that this could make it hard for the government to put money into important things like roads, hospitals, and schools. And this could stop the country from growing and having a good economy for a long time. Finally, he discussed the issue the UK government had with the education sector. As someone who values education, he understands that the knowledge gained from education is important for making the world a better place. It's like a special system that helps people learn things and become successful. When people get a good education, they can do amazing things and help their country grow. Education is like a superpower that lets you shape your future and make a difference in the world. The education system in the UK has been causing a lot of arguments lately. People are not happy because they think it's not fair. One big problem is that some kids don't have the same chances as others to get a good education. This makes it hard for them to do well in school and have a good future. Parents and students all over the UK are speaking up about these issues and saying that something needs to change.
We did fail. Right. I think we failed to ensure that the benefits of rapid economic growth were shared widely.
Some kids don't have the same opportunities as others to get a good education. This makes it hard for them to do well in school and have a good future. Parents and students all over the UK are speaking up about these issues and saying that something needs to change. The coronavirus pandemic has made things even worse. Schools have closed, and some kids don't have the right tools to learn from home. This has made it even harder for them to keep up with their studies. People who care about education say it's important for everyone to have a good education in the UK. They want to make sure that kids who are smart and work hard get rewarded for their efforts. They also think the government should give more help to kids who need it so that everyone has an equal chance to succeed. They say that teachers should be well trained and that we should use new technology to help us learn. They also believe that all schools should have good computers and internet. By doing all these things, they believe that the UK can be successful in the world and give everyone a bright future. Here are the two main indicators that Ken Clarke pointed out that could expose the UK into a bigger crisis. Number 1, low inflation and high interest rates. Inflation is when prices go up and things become more expensive. This is a problem because it means our money doesn't go as far as it used to. For example, if you used to be able to buy a toy for £10, but because of inflation the price goes up to £12, you would need to spend more money to buy the same toy. This can make it harder for people to afford the things they need and want. Ken explains that inflation involves more than price increases. The leaders in the UK understand that the economic crisis is causing worry among the people. They believe that staying strong and determined is important during these tough times. By making smart plans, helping businesses, and empowering individuals, they are confident that the country can overcome the challenges. They acknowledge that it may be difficult, but they emphasize the importance of coming up with new ideas, investing in the future, and working together. They believe that these efforts will lead to a brighter future for everyone in the UK. Due to prices going up and down, it's harder for people to buy the things they need. One reason for this is the COVID-19 pandemic, which disrupted the way things are made and sold around the world. That means there aren't enough materials to make things, so they cost more. Also, the government tried to help by giving out more money, but that made people want to buy more things, which made prices go up even more. It's a tricky situation, but grown-ups are working on fixing it. To address the inflation crisis, Ken suggests a possible approach that combines short-term and long-term measures. Here are some of his proposed solutions. 1. Monetary policy change. Ken recommends a careful approach to monetary policy, stressing the need to strike a balance between supporting economic recovery and containing inflation. He suggests reducing quantitative easing and exploring other tools to manage liquidity. 2. Supply chain resilience. Clarke believes that investing in supply chain resilience is crucial to stop any future disruptions. This includes diversifying sourcing options, encouraging local production, and promoting collaboration between businesses and policymakers to address vulnerabilities in the supply chain. 3. Wage growth and unemployment. Clarke also highlights the importance of ensuring wage growth keeps pace with inflation to maintain consumer purchasing power. Additionally, he suggests implementing policies that support job creation and skill development to reduce unemployment rates and boost economic resilience. 4. Infrastructure investment. Ken believes that infrastructure projects are important for the economy to grow and for people to be more productive. He thinks that if we invest more money in things like roads, energy, and technology, it will create more jobs, make things work better, and encourage businesses to invest too. To help with the problems caused by prices going up, the government can make sure it manages the money in the country well and makes good decisions about how much money there is. They can also invest in making supply chains stronger, which means making sure things can be made and delivered without any problems. Another important thing is to make sure that people's wages go up so they have enough money to buy things. By doing all these things, the UK can get through these difficult times and become even stronger. Number 2, tax issue. Taxes are a big topic that grown-ups talk about a lot. Some people think they're important because they help pay for things like schools and hospitals. But taxes can also be confusing and cause problems if they're not handled well. Ken Clarke is a smart person who knows a lot about how governments work. He thinks that taxes should be fair and easy to understand so that everyone can pay their fair share without it being too hard or unfair. He wants taxes to help the country grow and be a good place for everyone to live. Ken Clarke thinks that it's important to make taxes simple in the UK. He believes that if taxes are easier to understand, it will help people and businesses. Making taxes simpler would make it easier for people to follow the rules and not try to cheat. After talking with Sky News, Clarke said that the tax system is too complicated and needs to be made easier.
Firstly, continuing to control public expenditure, which is going to be difficult because you're going to have some increases in health spending because our aging population has chronic conditions in increasing numbers and marvellous treatments keep being introduced to deal with it.
The leaders in the UK want to make taxes easier for everyone to understand. They may do this by combining different tax rates, removing unnecessary exceptions, and making tax forms and processes simpler to use. By making taxes easier, people will have a better idea of how much they need to pay, which will make them more likely to follow the rules and make fewer mistakes. They also want to make sure that the rich pay more in taxes, while low-income individuals and families get some relief. This way, the burden is shared more among the people. There was an emphasis on business tax. Clarke supports a competitive tax regime that encourages investment and growth. He advocates for lowering corporate tax rates to attract businesses and stimulate economic activity. He argues that frequent changes to tax laws and rates can create uncertainty and hinder economic growth. Instead, he proposes establishing a cross-party consensus on tax policy, providing stability and predictability for individuals, businesses, and investors. As UK citizens are worried about the economic crisis, the leaders in the UK think that by making smart plans, helping businesses, and giving people the power to do great things, the country can get through this tough time. They believe if the country can work together, things can get better. Do you think the UK economic situation will be solved in less than 2 years? Let us know in the comments section below.